Is guacamole a fruit salad?
What is the best milkshake for bringing boys to the yard?
Ostriches are dinosaurs.
Don't piss off old people. New game.
What do you mean it gives you Arby's mouth?
Artisanal muck duck balls.
I think they call that autofellatio.
I want to high five a shark.
Welcome to Bar Banter. Relax, have a drink with us as we debate the most controversial topics in the world today.
On today's podcast, my voice cracks a little. We talk about if ghosts haunt my house, can I claim them as dependents
Rick, did you move to that new place
my
yet?
taxes?
Still at the old place.
What is the best place
United's playing tonight, so I
to corrupt
You were
dust?
like, I gotta go back and.
And lastly, we determine
that's
the 10 most
and that's where the back conversation came from. Like
life
also just don't like my
stats.
schools, you know.
Yeah.
But first, Richard Madison, what are you drinking?
I'm feeling real classy tonight. I have a frozen glass with my Blue Moon and an orange. Drew, what are you drinking?
Gentlemen, I am back to my regular tequila and soda.
Woo!
Ooh, I like it.
Travis, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Redwood Empire's Pipe Dream. Neat, because that's what I do. I don't need any fancy sodas and mixers and whatnot. I got no transition because we're not going straight in the topic. I need to tell the audience about the new thing that we're doing. Before we get into our first topic, we're shaking things up just a little bit with a brand new episode-long game just for us, pretty much. I mean, I guess the audience can kind of participate, but it's really just for us. It's called, are you ready? Are you ready? Who is the alias? Like ale.
Like ale, like the beer?
Like ale, the beer. Alias.
Give me hold, please.
Hold.
I gotta take my glasses off. I gotta take my headphones off.
Okay, so while you're doing that, here's how it works. One of us has been randomly selected the role of alias. Their task is to pick one of tonight's episodes and serve up an answer that's just off tap, right? Something that's just barely below bar. Meanwhile, the rest of us will answer in good faith and try to figure out who is the alias and which topic they lied about. Not necessarily lied about, but they came up.
Jennifer Garner
What?
in Alias?
Yes.
Oh, the TV show? Great TV show.
You don't, as the alias, you're not trying to put forth a bad answer. You're still trying to, quote, win the argument, but just with something that may not have been your first choice. And so I think we know each other well enough to kind of be able to sniff out who might be serving up an answer that's not up to snuff, basically. And if you are listening, put it in the comments. Who do you think is the alias? And before we get through, at the very end of the episode, we'll all j'accuse one another to determine who's going to be, and then that person will be revealed.
Yes.
And we'll try this again in another episode as well. So with that you guys were going to maybe ghost me with all of those puns.
What happened? With the ghosting?
Ghost.
I know that was a segue that you were trying to do,
Ghost.
but I'm not.
Ghost me.
I won't name it.
Ghost.
All right. I'm going to quit.
Gentlemen, our first
I'm going to leave the podcast.
First topic this evening. If a ghost haunts my house, can I claim them as dependents on my taxes? And I said can I, but really it should be should I be able to claim them as dependents on my taxes? I do want to go through some of the rules for claiming a dependent on your taxes.
Yes, lay it on me.
I was about to say some of the rules on ghosts in
We
your
don't-
house and how you interact with them.
No, I have the dependents. The U.S.
The U.S. legal
Real-
system.
Real life actual tax code.
Generalized, but yes. To claim someone as a dependent, all of these must be true. You can't be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return. The person must be a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or resident alien. They must not file joint return unless it's only to claim a refund and there's no tax liability. And a ITIN or SSN is required. A dependent must have a valid ID by the tax deadline. So those are the generic ones. The two types of dependents are: one is a qualifying child. The person must meet all of these. The relationship to the person claiming them is a child, stepchild, foster child, sibling, step sibling, or descendant of any of these, such as grandchild, niece, nephew. Have to be under the age of 19, lived with you for more than half the year. They didn't provide more than half of their own support, and they aren't filing a joint return. And if you aren't a qualifying child, you can be a qualifying relative, which I will go ahead and say one of these, it doesn't say you have to meet all of these. It's just one of these actually has to be related to you. So this is broader. You have to be not a qualifying child, so they aren't someone else's qualifying child. They either have lived with you all year or are related to you, so you could do that. Their gross income is less than $4,700, so very little. Support, you provided half of their total support during the year, and that's about it. So it sounds like, assuming that we're bringing ghosts into the conversation, they might potentially qualify as a qualifying relative. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. The door's open. The spiritual realm is open.
You should Ouija board on this.
I have one open right now. What are your thoughts? Gimme. Should you be able to claim them as dependents?
I mean, I guess it depends, really.
Okay, on what?
How financially savvy is your ghost haunting you?
Well, so I do think if we're gonna kind of break down the qualifying relative one and some of the generic ones, one of the things it spells out very clearly is that you have to be a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or resident alien, but like pre 1492 residents of America or this land would not qualify as U.S. citizens. Anything before 1776, really, in theory, if you died, you were not really a U.S. citizen. So I
They
think
were born.
I think you're a
in
resident alien at that point.
They
So I
were
think
born
you
in the States.
think you meet that qualification.
They're a naturalized citizen because they were born on soil
but if you died
that is
before,
currently, but at the same, they were born here.
but this is the U.S. tax code. This is not the British colonies tax code where we had to
I'm not
give
saying
money
that
back to the.
If you were born in
You know what?
1492 in California, at this present moment, you're a ghost.
Correct. I would hope
You
so.
still live here,
But you
but
never
are-
received a social
I'm
security
gonna take-
card or number.
I'm just gonna hop out there
you
real
were-
quick. The ghost provides all of their support, therefore disqualifying themselves from
How do they?
what support do you give the ghost? Zero. The ghost just exists, and you provide zero support. It has chosen to occupy, and by occupy, because ghosts don't really occupy anything, it just chooses to float around
choosing
your house.
I like choosing. Well, sometimes it's grounded here, right? Sometimes it can't. It can't move on, so it's stuck here. It doesn't have a choice.
But not your house. It's
Yeah,
not stuck in your house.
yeah, it might if you died in your house.
Oh, okay. What rules are we going by? Terminator? What are we doing?
Are there ghosts in Terminator?
I don't know. You knew what I was going for. Like,
No, I didn't. I
I
don't.
really, I really
What rules
don't.
of space travel are we going with?
Most
What does space travel have to do with ghosts, Rick?
Time travel. Sorry. But neither has to do with ghosts. But
to be fair, space travel actually is the rule of ghosts in that they can't travel. Usually they're tied to whatever they're, I guess, haunting. They don't just like, they don't die, become a ghost, and be like, you know what? I'm going to go float 20 miles east and just go haunt some random house. Usually they're
that's literally
tied.
what the movie Ghost is about. You can go anywhere, do anything.
To be honest, I haven't seen Ghost. So
As long as you,
I'm sorry.
we need to talk about
You
this.
have never
I've never
seen
seen it.
Whoopi
Ghost?
Goldberg,
What?
Patrick Swayze.
I know the scene, but I've never seen it.
How do we buzz in and rule who the imposter is? Because right now I'm buzzing Travis is a liar.
Jeff has never seen Ghost. Impossible.
I just no. I mean, maybe I have, and it was like 8, but like it was on in the background kind of thing. My mom was watching it probably, but like I personally have not seen it.
Unfortunate.
Very sad.
I think personally, I'm kind of on the same potential vein as Rick,
Ooh.
but it's more like it all comes down to me as dependent. That word itself means that the ghost needs you.
Yeah, they do.
But they don't.
They do.
But
Because they could scare
don't.
you in the documentary Casper. They could scare you out
I've
of the
seen
house
that documentary.
and still have the house, and if they're bound to it, so they don't need Travis.
No matter who owns the house,
right?
No matter what is there, if they knock down the building,
if
depending
anything,
on,
they can claim you
using
as a
ghosts.
dependent in ghost taxes.
Ooh, Rick's
More
actually kind of
accurate.
in there on ghost taxes.
I think you are the dependent.
They can't claim me as a dependent because they don't own the property.
But
And
they did.
But they don't
at
have
one
the deed
point.
anymore, so they don't have
But
that.
you don't know about in Ghost Court.
Yeah, you don't know ghost eats.
I don't know ghost eats in Ghost Court. You're right.
You don't know
I
ghost
don't.
law, Travis.
I only know bird law. You're right. But I'm talking about the U.S. taxes. Can I claim the ghost as a dependent on the U.S. taxes?
But what about the
ghost
US
is going
court
to be there no matter what. They're a dependent is somebody.
That's not true. They could move on. You could help them move on.
All right,
you could, but you don't have to.
I know, but you're dependent.
Whereas a dependent,
and whereas
if you have a child, you are helping that thing grow up and exceed itself and become an adult, and then eventually potentially move out of the house.
It is up to
whereas
19.
a ghost, you do not have to do that. That is, you are not legally obligated.
What if it's a kid ghost?
You're still not legally obligated. It doesn't have to go to school. You don't have to have DFACs come in and talk to you about the conditions that you're living in. If you have a ghost child in there, there is no precedent you can bring to me that tells me
ghost
that, and I know we want to kind of live in a little suspended disbelief reality right now, but
I took this as
actual factual ghost is living in my house. It doesn't need anything from you.
Right.
It needs the house. It needs you not to.
It doesn't.
It doesn't need the house.
It does. Or else it's not hunting the house.
It could just, if you knock the house down, it's either going to haunt the land or it's going to move on. You did nothing except destroy the external factors and change the external factors. Yeah, you could help it move on. You may not. But at the end of the day, it is less dependent on you being in that space than you are dependent on it not being in that space, if that makes sense.
I concur with that, because if it lets you live there peacefully, you're welcome. And if it haunts you away,
That's still not dependent, though. That is an equal relationship of like either codependence or like you have both acknowledged each other and said that this is okay.
So the by the book, if we're taking into consideration the actual rules, assuming they had at one point a social security number and they meet all of the original requirements, one of the things that you could say is that they had zero gross income and they lived with you all year. By that, by those things alone, by the written law, I can claim Ghost as a dependent.
No, because you don't provide more than half of their total support.
It just says I have to only it. So that was for
But they don't need
that's for
support.
qualifying relative and for qualifying
no
child. It both
qualifying
said-
relative may not be related. It's more broad. It includes people who were related or didn't live with you for a full year potentially, but you don't have to qualify for all of those things.
Yes, you do. You must
it
meet
says
all of the following.
I got relationship or residency. Either
Gross
live with you
income
all
limit,
year-
support, and citizenship. You need to meet all of the following. Not just one. You must meet every criteria.
Okay, okay. So let's say they have citizenship, gross income. The only thing that we have to fight for is support, and I can support a ghost. I can support them as someone to haunt.
But the
They don't need-
ghost does not
they don't need
need
that.
support.
Yeah, they don't need
Well,
that.
it's not saying what you need. It's just your support. Half
Again,
of
we
the
go back
total
to the
support
word is
during the year.
dependent. If they need you to live. You have to support them.
They're not.
They have to.
living.
They have to be dependent on you to
not live.
exist. To exist.
Right.
And so
And
a
I'm
ghost
the
does
one that
not meet that
believes in them.
qualification.
I'm the one that believes in them, keeping them alive.
Okay, they're not.
That's not
This isn't-
or
No,
whatsoever.
no, this isn't Tinkerbell. Like I believe in fairies. That's not what's happening right here. You
I do
know,
believe in fairies.
they're
I
either
do.
there or they're
I
not.
do.
Like, I appreciate the clapping, Drew. I needed that.
I just watched Hook last week.
Nice.
All right, so I don't think I'm going to be able to convince you. I can't think of a good argument for the support part, but like
I
think
honestly,
that's a
coming into
very
this-
vague thing that I could probably come up with an argument that yes, I supported said ghost, and bam, met qualification, done.
Coming to this, Travis, I really wanted to find a loophole to get some money off of my taxes, maybe get a little kickback.
Yeah.
But just by the nature of ghosts, I don't think I can.
I can't get there.
I can't support it.
So let's break it down. What does a ghost actually need? We don't know, right?
Look, shoot or shoot. Like if you want to claim them, claim it. You know, like I don't give a
That's
shit.
not the point.
If you-
But like if that's what we're
If you
doing,
want to
like
try in the court of
no,
law,
I know I
I
can
will
try.
back you,
I'm not saying
honestly.
I'm not saying that I can't try. I'm saying should you be able to? Should it be allowed? Should it be?
Should you be able to try to claim them, or should you be able to?
Should
claim
you be
them?
able to claim them? I want
don't
when
think
I'm
so.
filling out my TurboTax. Do you have a ghost haunting your house? Yes. Dependent for more than 1 year. Cool. Dependent.
now, if you want to put that as like a liability or a
If
something
you want
like that,
if you want ghost insurance,
yes. If you want that,
and, like
as a
I have to
kickback,
pay ghost insurance because it keeps busting
Sure.
my pipes,
Sure.
or
Like,
messing
sorry,
up
we
my
didn't realize you were being
electrical.
haunted. We took too much money away. Here's some back. I'm cool with that. But as a
I just hate
dependent,
insurance in general.
I would say, well, yeah, it's not
So
really
does
insurance
everybody.
in that sense. Like it's a kickback. Like you don't claim it
Okay.
as a dependent.
Okay.
You claim it as a like the equivalent of a monetary
natural
donation.
natural phenomenon.
Yeah, and you're like, yo, I got ghosts.
As a deductible.
Thank you, deductible. That's the word I'm looking for.
So it's in its own
Can I
category
get
of
eight?
deduction.
Can I get
versus a
800 back
dependent.
because I have to deal with this shit every year?
Right, right.
I'm okay with us saying ghosts are deductible, but maybe not dependents. I'm okay with that.
I would, yeah, 100%. They're deductible.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
I would
yeah.
go with deductible.
Violent agreement there.
Okay. I'm glad. Okay. That makes sense. I'm here for that. We're all in agreement. Do you think I could crop dust a ghost?
And you best believe I'm shooting my shot on that on TurboTax next year. I'd be like, I got Ghost. I didn't see a line for
Rick
Ghost.
is getting audited next year, and they're like, you claimed ghosts?
Hey, real quick. You listening? Cool. Do me a favor. On your app, wherever you're listening to this podcast, there's a button to follow or subscribe or some sort of a notification type bell. Whatever you do, don't click them. Don't click those buttons. Don't do it. Or click it. Whatever it doesn't matter. Just fine. It's fine. Just click it. It's cool. Just do whatever you want. Preach.
Our next topic, gentlemen, best place to crop dust. I'm going to go and jump out there. We're just going to say it. Any place where there's children and they're standing in line. Disney.
Do they have? Okay.
Basically, where they're about ass height. You could blow one right in their face. And then you can blame it on them. Best place to crop dust. Because crop dusting in theory is like you're kind of walking. You know, so maybe you want to like be strategic about it and find a line that's actually moving a little bit and you're not just kind of sitting in it. But it is also kind of funny to sit in it and just bask in it.
Everyone likes the smell.
It's not. I don't know if that's necessarily crop dusting as much as like
smell of their own brand.
That's kind of a what did we call it? A Scorpion King. Do you remember that, Rick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it was a Scorpion King / what's not Dutch oven. Yeah, it's kind of a Dutch oven sense of like, but you're like standing in line, but you're just like making everyone stay in it. But like anywhere where there's a bunch of kids, they're ass height, and then you can also blame it on the kid. I'm gonna for the purposes of like picking somewhere. Yeah. I'm gonna say theme park line, and that'll be my official submission.
I'm gonna tag on to this because my SO submission was the classroom where you could just walk by a kid sitting at the table and then they freak out and they start blaming each other, and then you can just be crop dusting all day, not blame once.
Adults don't fart.
No, that's right. That's right.
I've never farted.
So I'm with you, Travis. I don't know if
children is the theme so far.
Yes, children is the theme. I was prepared to come in and say like a meeting kind of thing, like leaving, like the after meeting. So you have the meeting and then the after meeting.
Where you're standing by the water, they're standing right outside the door.
Well, no. So like you have the group meeting, whatever problem came up, the people affected have to stay after. And so you're not involved. You leave meeting and you let others, not only are they mad, they have to stay for the post meeting, but then add to the fact that you're like, and enjoy Chipotle.
Salutations.
That's right. But no, I like the kids much better.
Okay.
Easy to get away with it. Escape blame.
Yes. Drew, what you got?
For me, there is no good time to crop dust. And here's why. It's an environmental and a health risk.
Can I hit the imposter buzzer now?
Spraying pesticides on crops has been proven,
taking it literally,
to be adverse or to have adverse health risks for everybody involved.
Among us.
Sus.
Why would I not take this the other way? In general,
I'm going to find that sound effect and put it in right here.
Sus.
Who called the meeting?
It's a dangerous job.
Bro, Drew just vented right in front of me.
They could miss their mark and contaminate water sources.
It's true. They're not smart bombs. They're not.
No,
they're like literally eyeballing it. Let's think about the documentary Independence Day. And he was drunk flying that plane.
Drunk. Not even drunk.
Dusted the wrong field. He did.
Yeah.
I think that crop dusting in general should not be a general practice for anyone. I think there are better ways to put pesticides on your fields that are less harmful for the environment in general.
Okay.
Okay, but if you were gonna fart on someone, where the best place to fart on them?
We said crop dusting.
I did. That's true.
did.
You
He
said
did say-
crop dusting,
He did say
and
crop
that has
dusting.
multiple meanings. The
Right.
one that I think we should be
Most focused on.
talking about is the one that's spraying pesticides on actual crops
Wow.
and not farting in public.
Wow.
I mean, I have some backups for the actual
Farting in
task
public.
assigned.
What would your backups be? Drew?
Backups would be airplane
Okay.
while you're walking to the bathroom.
Airplane's good.
And that air is recycled.
And
it's gonna
at
be there for a
a
while.
at a concert where
Okay.
you're like packed to the gills because 0% chance anybody can figure out.
That's actually an excellent point. And you might sway me. I don't know if I go concert, I might go sporting event. Because to me, like
Sporting events a little bit harder because you're generally assigned seating.
no,
Whereas
sure.
I'm thinking concert as like you're up in the general admission area.
Totally get that. But also, if I'm walking up the stairs to like my beverage, you best believe I'm letting that out.
If you're doing
Or
the crab
if
walk,
I'm doing
and
the
you-
excuse,
the
the crab dance,
and they're
excuse
sitting
me.
down, and you do it right in their face. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
However, I will say, I don't think anyone's had a bad answer except for not crop dusting. That's a bad answer. Because regardless of which way you take it, we need to crop dust.
Well, because
no, it's you don't. There
Yeah.
are better alternatives.
No.
but the
crop
other
dusting.
danger with that is spontaneous combustion that the documentary South Park tells us about.
Yes.
That when you get new girlfriends and you don't fart, you explode from the gases. So
Yes. I have watched that documentary. There is nothing funnier than farting in a kid's face.
I honestly,
and I
And
agree
just-
with that.
And just seeing their face like melt and be like, oh God. One, that smells terrible, and two, I it's gonna get put on. They already know it's not them, and it's gonna get like the shame and the smell at the same time that they're about to just endure is priceless.
I have a really hard time with this because I feel like kids are innocent enough to where they could actually be like, was that me? Whereas if you crop dusted and farted in front of a adult and they know for a fact that it wasn't them, but they don't know for a fact that it was you, that is the pinnacle of, like, if you are going to crop dust, you want it to be a situation where you have made everyone feel uncomfortable with the smell.
Yep.
But they don't know exactly who it is. Whereas a kid's like, it just smells kind of funny.
Right. And some of them might laugh, which is actually kind of fun too.
I just don't think
I
it's
kind of
as-
like that. Like the ones that are like, yeah, it was me, ha, and like I got away with it. Great. Like there's almost zero risk. Whereas sometimes adults can suss that out.
I think in the right scenario.
All right. So our list is theme parks, classrooms, and then I've got airplanes and concerts, and I'm throwing out the don't crop dust one.
No.
I've thrown it out.
That
I've
is my
done it.
fucking answer.
All right. Don't crop dust. Classroom and theme parks.
We
I assume
know it's
we're
an
not doing
environmental
not-
hazard.
We're not doing no crop dusting. So which would
No, yeah. I don't care. I think I don't know if we need to necessarily limit it. Like I'm down to like kids.
just call
Setting-
it kids
Kids, yes. Because
in,
like
in front of kids.
urban air, you know, like yeah, kids.
Direct kid vicinity.
Yes.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Not necessarily on kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in
but
the vicinity. Yeah.
but also on kids would also be funny because
No, I'm not saying that you need to grab a kid's head and put it
yeah, yeah,
directly.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. It's a
Yeah,
crop
we know.
dust.
Yeah.
You're walking. You're
Yeah,
walking.
I think that's an like offense that you could probably be arrested for.
Exactly. I'm not suggesting that, right? I'm not suggesting you give the kid pink eye, right? That's not okay. Don't do that. But I would like to know the volume of farts I've had in my lifetime. Total volume.
This is your segue into the
Yeah. That's a
10
segue.
things. Yeah. Do you want somebody to go first? Do you
Gentlemen,
want
our
to
last topic.
reintroduce the subject? I don't.
Our last topic this evening. We're going to determine the 10 most important life stats. Not sure exactly where we're going to see these life stats. It could be at the pearly gates at the end of your life. They could be achievements throughout your life. You could either maybe see them in their broadcast for everyone, or maybe there's just like a little like Sims notification above your head. Who knows? I don't know. But that kind of idea where you're just like being able to reflect on the stuff you've done in life. And we want to come up with the 10 that I don't want to say are the most important. They're not necessarily the ones that we are striving for, but they're the ones that we want to see be included in whatever that life stats list is. So these would be our submission. Like if everyone has, hey, we need to come up with the life stats. This would be our submission of 10 of them that we would see. So for this one, I think we're going to be throwing out a lot of them, and then we'll narrow that list down and come up with 10. Because I have like 20, but obviously they're not all going to make it. So with that, I'm happy to run through my list, unless you guys really have some stuff that you want to go ahead and talk about. There's an expression that we all say, I don't give a fuck. That's zero. That's zero fucks given. I want to
fucks.
see how many total fucks I have given.
I like that.
Right? Just how many fucks have I given in a year in my lifetime? So
Yes.
there's that. Hours of sleep missed when I should have been asleep, either on my own doing or some other reason, like children or otherwise. Like, how much sleep did I actually miss out on in my life?
Okay.
Total number of boners.
Wow.
That
Do you want
includes-
number of boners or
That
hours
includes
erect?
awkward boners.
Yeah.
Or
I think
Or you just want it broken down? Number of boners, hours erect.
yeah,
because
the general
I feel like
category.
I would include like, or actually no, I don't think I would include a half chub.
No.
No.
I would say
Like fully erect.
Yeah, don't lip in here with a half chub.
I would say
Yeah.
85% or greater.
Okay.
I don't know how you be to 85%, but
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
whatever that is.
Raging.
It rules out the half chub. Not necessarily throbbing, but
Right.
yes.
Yes. Total number of awkward high fives / handshakes where you either miss or you get like that limp handshake or you like just those
Ooh,
awkward
okay.
physical interactions. How many bugs I've killed, either intentionally or unintentionally. Like if I've run over a bug or if I'm just walking, what is my impact on the bug population? I kind of want to know. The number of extra times I've locked a car door.
I have something
Ooh,
similar
that's a
for mine.
good one.
I
Yeah,
have something
we
similar
had
for mine.
we had a topic like a year ago about like how many times do you click the
Yeah.
button? I want to know
I'm
how many
gonna
times
just
extra do I have?
I'm
On
gonna
top of
I
what
like
it was
that.
actually locked.
Right on the extra.
because I have how many times have you rechecked if you locked the door? And I think that
Yes,
tailors into
similar.
that one.
Yeah,
So I think you can factor all doors, whether it's extra locks pressed. How many times did you go back and
right.
test
I have
handles
one
or-
where it's I'll just like kind of sneak this in there. How many times do I check my keys in my backpack or my pockets before I actually close my door to my place?
I'm going to say additional security measures. Right, like you're making sure you're not going to get locked out. You're making sure you have your wallet and your phone, all that stuff. Hours spent wearing a hat. Kind of personal to me, but like I want to know. I want to know. pounds of hair either cut off or lost. So either just in the normal hair just falling off,
A haircut.
a haircut,
Hmm.
a trim of the beard, whatever. I just want to know in pounds how much hair has come off of my body.
Ooh, I got a good one on that one too.
Number of times I've unstuck my sack. Either with a hand or the side step or whatever you got to do. Number of times I've accidentally put clothing on backwards and was like, and you have to take it off and put it back on the right way. Extra calories consumed. I want to see like what my footprint was extra that I technically didn't need. And I know that's sometimes a little subjective or it's personal to the person, but it's like I just want to know. I want to know if I would have been able to get by with whatever. And the last one I have on here is what was the food I consumed the most?
I have that one too. Yep.
And I know it's probably just like baked chicken because that's just
Is it?
what I assume so. Or if we're counting individual Cheerios, then it might be that. I don't know. But like it depends on
Right.
what the unit
think
of
How many
measure
times you
is.
had the meal versus actual
Yeah.
quantities consumed?
Right. I don't know.
Because then it might be chips.
Could be
Depending
chips.
on how many times you yeah.
Yeah. So those are the ones that I want to put forward first. Who's next?
I'll go next because my screen is clockwise and it just makes sense. I would like to know my average driving speed. Like when I die, what was my average speed throughout life? I would like to know that. I would also be curious.
Oh, I had one on that.
My total missing sock count from the laundry. I would like to know
Specifically from laundry or just in general?
No, in general. In general, I think would be fun. I would also like to know my total time spent deciding on what to watch.
Okay.
At the end of life, I would like to know how long I sat there, like, what do I want to watch? Scrolling through Netflix.
For
Hulu.
you, Rick, does that include watching something knowing that you're not interested?
No, it does not. It involves
you want to choose something else
because I just sit there and cycle.
scrolling.
Like I went through Netflix twice, Hulu twice, HBO or Max, whatever it is now, because it's changed.
now HBO Max. It's back.
Yeah,
it's back. It's back, baby.
Just scrolling, trying to decide. I would also like to know my right to wrong ratio throughout life. Just how many total times I was right. Arguments won maybe.
No, I like right to wrong. Expand it to like.
Just I was correct.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like in the moment. Maybe it was decided I was wrong. That doesn't count. Where I was like truly right. Like at the end of life, like you were truly correct this many times.
You can claim a ghost as a dependent.
I also would like to know how many times I actually got away with what I thought I got away with. So like making it up, like let's say.
Oh, I have one on that, Rick. Kind of a different vein.
Like you double dip or you do something that's maybe sus and you're like, no one's going to know. And then you walk out of the house party and everyone's like, he totally just did that shit. Like I want to know my ratio there. I have a lot of ratios. The other thing I did was top thing or food consumed. So that whether it's meal, but how or
it could be all of them.
Whatever
it could be broken
it is.
down by like individual chips or slash.
I would like. I actually like the breakdown. There's a few of them. I'd like the breakdown as like just category of food consumed.
Yeah, like this was your
be like I went to Taco Bell this many times.
Pounds of peanut butter.
Maybe this was my order, but like it was more like how many tacos, how many pizzas, how many burgers, how many X amount of things.
That's fair. I wouldn't want the breakdown. I would want to know, like, give me top 10, let's call it items consumed. So, like, I think, it's wings. It's like you actually only, like if wings don't make the top 10, in terms of meals eaten, this is just what I get. Like, I don't want to know anything after that or in the search breakdown. I just want to know, like it's your top 25 playlists in Apple Music or whatever.
Right.
And then the last one I have is your I don't even know how to phrase this because I don't want to know the number. So your tip versus the average. I want to know where I lie in average tip. So not necessarily like the average tips I gave through life was 15%.
Above
I want
or
to know
below
So
above
good.
or below average.
the 20% line.
Your tip war.
Yes, thank you. The tip war. Like I don't want to know the like I tip 20%. I want to know based on the world's average tip constantly given, you were 2% above average of the world.
Your tar, if you will.
Yes.
That is your wins above replacement is
Yes.
the baseball stat.
Yes.
How many wins you would have contributed to your team if you were playing the position versus the average person playing the position.
Yes.
So you want
that, but tip.
So you want the tar.
Yes, I do want the tar. And
you're welcome for that.
That's all I had prepared.
But Drew, what do you got?
Okay. We're gonna go with this. This is kind of the left instead of right.
Okay.
Of if I had chosen right instead and died, or like something drastic or terrible.
How many times you missed death?
Yeah, by like inches, just by like not stepping or stepping.
Yep.
Or
I thought of that.
Just being in the right place at the right time, or not being in the right place at the right time. That kind of stat. I would also like to know how many pounds I've pooped.
Yes.
Just and like an actual.
I believe it's Keurig.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many Keurig?
I love the biddy. And you could add on to that how many gallons I've peed.
Okay.
Oh, because I feel like I pee more than most people. How many red lights that I've run?
I almost
run.
I like that.
Yeah, and gotten away because I actually don't think I've ever gotten pulled over for running a red light. And I don't do it super often, but I have done it a fair amount in my life. So I'd like to know exactly like how many.
Yeah, because
traffic situations where I was not in the right to do that, but I got away with it without getting pulled over or persecuted.
I like that. I like the red lights too, because we all know like if we're at the part where it's like, because like you were being real technical about it, like we're going, it's yellow, it's like I'm not stopping, I'm going, and then like it turns red kind of thing. Like, would that technically count? And so it would just be interesting not knowing the criteria, but it's like you ran 750,000, red lights. Oh, damn.
By law, we're going back to the original. By law, you did not do this correctly.
Right. Letter of the law. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know.
And then how many handshakes have I had?
Okay. I mean, actual handshakes, not
like actual like physical handshakes have I had. And I would like I think in this like circumstance, I'd want a recap of everybody just in like quick succession. But like a handshake for me is a very personal thing where like I'm meeting you and I'm putting my hand in your hand, and I wanna like know that we've actually met, type of thing.
Do you just want to know handshakes or number of shakes?
Not number of shakes, just like hand in hand.
People I have shaken hands with. Got it.
People I have shaken hands with.
Okay.
Not 3 pumps, 5 pumps.
Got it.
That kind of thing. Probably my last one. Times when other people, not me, have thought about me.
I have that on there. I have that as well.
Okay.
It's kind of a really deep one. Is like, people maybe I have not thought about or talked to in,
and not necessarily positive or negative, just in general.
No, just
thought about
5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, we knew each other, and then I come up in their mind.
I forgot about having.
Drew. Yeah. Drew, he was, great. We went to
such
high
an
school
asshole.
Together. He was just a real fucking bitch. But like when people actually think about me, when I'm not aware that they're going to think about me, that's kind of a interesting thing to think about.
All right. Do we think we can narrow this down? Are there any that were like, yes, we need to include this? Or are there any that we like, I don't care
So
for
I think
that
off
one
the
at all?
jump, we have to include ones we've doubled on.
Yes. So that was
So security measures, double
security
checked
measures.
locks.
Yep.
That's one, by the way.
What?
Yeah, that's all one.
Yeah,
We-
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of agreed like top food item
Yeah.
consumed meal
Mhm.
Yeah.
ordered.
I like the kind of more like a spectrum or just a like a list if we would allow it.
Yeah, I think Rick said top 10, but like
Yeah,
nothing
top
outside of
top
that.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is. I don't necessarily care the number, but like
Top 10 be
And
like and I don't want to like obviously we have discussions about, sandwiches and all that bullshit. But like did I have 100,000 burgers? Did I have 10,000 tacos?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
an actual
We
food
don't-
item
we don't
that
need to be the
we
ones
could
to
all
just-
kind of
We don't need
Yeah.
to determine like how the stats are made. We just need
life
to
will have
determine
determined that for us,
Right.
and that could
Yes.
factor into our correct, wrong.
the
Stats.
afterlife will
Yes.
tell us.
And I think that works for I had said
We will get
as an aside,
experience points.
like number of miles of noodles eaten. If noodles were one of the top
Yeah.
things I ate, it would show 8 trillion miles of noodles eaten.
Sure.
So yes, I think those were the two that we completely agreed upon. I think total missing socks needs to be on there. I think that's just one of like life's mysteries. We don't need to know where they went.
No, just how many
Yeah.
I lost.
I feel like at the end of the day, we lose all of them.
Yeah, but how many is that? How many is all?
If we
And
were
how
going
many did I
to
personally
And not all,
lose?
not in the sense where like I died and now I can't use them anymore.
if we're going to include it, I would
And
put
some
it
I
up
threw out on
to-
purpose. I didn't lose those. I threw those out, or they ripped.
would- I'd put it up to clothing items
That's fine. Like, because I've
in general.
after
that-
sleepovers, I've missed plenty of shirts. Like, if we want to expand it to clothes, like you've had my Lassiter shirt for
Ex-girlfriends
I love the
took
grade
clothing.
school. I
Right.
love the grade school version of quote unquote sleepovers for people
Yeah.
who can't see this.
like if you want to expand it, I'm cool with that. I
Okay.
just missing articles of clothing
Yep.
or how many jackets did I leave at school and never found again?
Mhm.
That's fine.
That would be it. Yeah, I would love to expand it a little bit more to like articles of clothing that you just could not find.
I'm cool with that.
I don't love the tar stat only because I already believe I'm a good tipper and I don't need to see.
Yeah, but you believe it. What if it turns out you sucked?
I'm okay with.
Okay.
No, because I know I know.
No,
I'm
yeah. I'm not right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
I'm very sure that I'm above the 20%.
But you see, to me, that was kind of where that was where my mind went with most of these, where I was like, I am fairly confident on a lot of this. Like, I would like to know what
yeah.
I'm fairly confident on, and was like, actually, you piece of shit. Like,
Mhm.
There's some where I
No.
would agree with you, but that one,
Oh.
and that's fine.
particular-
That's fine.
yeah,
I'm not arguing for that one. I don't really.
Can
I'm
I
not-
add one late game?
sure.
Like, if you want to do carts returned or something,
I want to add like in a similar vein, top 10 beverages alcoholic beverages consumed.
I don't care
Like,
as much.
is it
I don't.
is it a whiskey sour? Is it
To me, that
a-
factors into the food one. If we want to make it different, I don't care. Like, sure.
I just want to know, like, because they're kind of different for me, of like how obviously for me it's probably like tequila and soda or tequila
What?
and ginger.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when I'm dying and I see those stats, drink for drink, what's the big one on the list? Top tens.
I mean, I
Yeah, I personally don't care, but I don't
care.
mind it being on the list.
I don't Well, like I think there's some other ones on here. Like if we're picking only 10, we have 25 plus. I think that's lower on my priorities.
I guess I'm okay with you submitting it.
Yeah, I don't.
To Travis's point, I don't know if I want to, based on what we have, to be D if it's on the 10, but
right.
Fair.
I like the time. So this is one, Rick, you said how many times you missed death. I think you said that one, or Drew. Was it Drew?
No, that was me.
I like that one because it tells you something you didn't know. Like,
see, I was thinking about something like how many snakes was I close to and didn't realize, or spiders, like kind of thing. So death, I'm okay to kind of expand it to something like that.
Yeah.
Not unknowingly, how close was I to hazard? Significant hazard. And yeah,
we don't count like Rick going to the zoo.
No.
And being a spider being behind the glass.
No. Like it turns out
a trail or running and
or it turns out every morning getting in my car, a snake was under my car every morning and I never knew it, or a spider lived under my bed,
living in your glove
8
box.
years, and never saw it. Yeah, no, not the zoo, or like Tim, my neighbor I know, has a tarantula. Can
what the fuck? Who is Tim?
I don't know.
How do we kill that guy?
Right. All right, what else we got, Travis?
So that's 4.
I would argue a lot for your right ratio. Because to me that's the same, like the same thing as like the hat for you one. Like that's a personal one to me. I just would be curious to know how many times was I actually right.
I feel like I'd be depressed because ultimately I might be wrong. Like I don't know. Like
I would like to think we're all pretty self-aware,
right?
Generally, like with where we are, like we not be, and I don't mean like 100% like accuracy, right? But I just mean like, on the spectrum of right, wrong, like you, just because you don't have all the details, but you have the idea right, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Like we have to, us being where we are.
Maybe arguments won, if you would prefer that over times right. Same idea to me, but
because like the right to wrong ratio, I would assume, because of again where we are in life, we're generally self-aware enough to where like we're probably right most of the time. Most being 51% or greater.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So maybe arguments won would be better, but also like I'm just not as I get combative on this podcast because that's the point. But like,
but not just because you don't get combative. Like
blessings.
Like if you I can walk away from a meeting at work and not be combative about it, but walk away thinking like I'm pretty sure I was right on that. Like I ain't gonna flip tables and argue with you, and I'll go do something wrongly if that's what you told me to do. But I also just want to know, like, what was I right? Because I'm pretty sure I was. Am I missing something? But yeah, if you're gonna feel strongly about it, that's fine. That's just, if we're at the moment of arguing for things to be included,
it's
that's
not a bad
one of my
one.
submission.
I like that over the one that Drew, the whatever he submitted before that. I don't remember. Was it drinks?
If you're talking literally right before it, yes, it was drinks.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
Did we put other people thinking about me?
Oh, I would like to know that. I would like to know that.
Just in general.
In general. And I don't need to know positive, minus. I just want to know.
Yeah.
Time
just
spent.
People actually taking time out of their day to like be like, oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Positively, negatively, good, sexually, not sexually.
Yeah, and whether it's time or occasions, I could go either way. Yeah,
just like
we're not depending. We're not deciding the metric, just the stat. Yeah.
Okay, then
me as a manager being like somebody 20 years from now being like, I remember that guy being my manager.
Yeah, or
that'd be
fuck
cool.
That guy didn't
that'd
give
be
me an
really.
beer. Yeah.
He was really a shit person.
Okay, I'm right with that.
I do like, you said fuck that guy. I do like total fucks given. That was
yes, thank you for the reminder on that one. I would I would like that
Okay
one
with
because that would
total
be a
fucks given.
stat that I would just like raise my eye at and be like, you gave an average of 3 fucks. I'd be like, huh, all right.
I didn't know we were counting that, but I'm here for it.
I don't know what the metric of fucks given is, but you gave 3.7548
Ooh,
fucks.
I would like a breakdown of sit, stand, lay of my life. What percentage of time? And out of those 3, percent
That's a good
spent
one.
sitting,
Rick.
percent standing, percent laying down.
That's a good one.
I'd throw that out there last minute.
I just think that's another one that I don't want to say I'm self-aware of it, but I'm relatively.
No, yeah, I mean, me too, but it would just be interesting to know
just the total
like, scientifically
minute breakdown.
Or yeah,
Minute break. Rick had said percentages, so I was like, eh.
I mean,
minutes
at the end of
could
the
be
day,
a little
it's
bit
the
more
same.
interesting.
It's the
Yeah,
same.
Well, no,
fine. I mean, it's the same
'cause
idea.
percentage. It's not the same idea necessarily. Minutes would be like, oh, I would just seeing one of them would be pretty eye opening. Like, oh, holy crap! And then once you see
But I want all
one-
3.
yeah. But like the percentage, I mean, if I'm quote sleeping 8 hours a night, that's 1/3 of my day.
All right, you
Plus,
nerd.
I'm just saying, like I generally self-aware.
Taking all
I'm
the
gonna
fun
be
out of this.
I'm probably laying down more than I am sitting or standing.
Throw out
And
one of your
also
25 then.
boners.
Oh yeah, boners is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I want boners.
Boners is good.
And
Yeah, put that in there.
I
Put that
would
in there.
prefer time erect, not but
Full-
yes, I
yeah.
would like that.
I'm okay time erect.
Yeah,
I would like
I would
time
like
erect,
that
yeah.
one.
And he's like, what did I walk into?
Boners is good.
Actually, and Rick, I would like time erect in a couple different categories of like time erect without any interaction, time erect with personal
Stimulated.
interaction,
Yeah.
and then time erect with other people involved.
I would think that would be in the breakdown.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You like the subcategories.
Yeah. It's no reason boner for.
And then the awkward, like absolutely should not be erect right now.
Yeah.
Category.
But I am.
And it's surprisingly a big number.
I am rock hard thinking about the traffic. Like,
I am listening to
NPR.
right. My grandma's voicemail talking about breakfast.
stabbing you.
I like the pounds of poop and gallons of pee. I think that's kind of funny.
Sure.
I would like that one as well. Just
I don't care, but sure.
total volume.
That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at 8. I need 2 more. We have total number of awkward high fives. That could also be expanded to like awkward interactions where someone says happy birthday and you say you too. Those kind of things. No. Okay. How many
I
bugs?
was tempted to throw this one out, but I didn't feel strongly about it enough. Like average time spent not knowing someone's name, where it was like it was just hey man, and like you've known them long enough, it's awkward to ask their name, and they're just guy, like hey bud, hey man.
You could just say, would you want the time spent in each total time spent in each situation, or would you just want total number of interactions where you didn't know the person's name?
I was wondering with it. I couldn't decide if I wanted like what was the longest instance or average or number of times that like it occurred, and I just went with it.
I kind of like both. Honestly.
But I don't feel strongly about
I would
it.
like the ratio. I don't know if I want the ratio of times I did know versus the time I didn't know.
I would. Can I?
Yeah,
put
you can
out
expand it. I don't feel strongly about it.
Can I put out a change for my handshake one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Total number of times handshake, fist bump, high five, and then also a breakdown of when it didn't, like you went to high five, but they went to fist bump.
I said awkward handshake, so that would be.
Yeah, like put all.
Okay, you know what? If we expand awkward to include the handshakes, the U2s,
greetings, awkward.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Like they should have been okay, but
I would like to know.
Turn out all right.
Yeah, and probably including that, but like miles of the awkward dance where like you in the hallway where you both go left, both go right, and like
Oh.
you know, like how many miles did I awkward dance with somebody?
That'd be
At
pretty
least
funny.
3 miles.
You could also include, if we were doing that, I don't know if we need to, but miles walked to avoid someone you spotted so that you don't have to talk to them, like in a grocery store, etc.
Okay.
I don't love that, but like I'm just trying to.
Yeah, you could expand that with the breakdown. That's fine.
Oh, we could keep going with this because you brought up Travis. I love grocery shopping and I love walking in the supermarket. So number of miles walked in an actual grocery store would be one up there for me, but obviously not on the docket. But
Hours wasted standing in line at checkout. That would be something I want to know.
I do self checkout, so I don't.
I'll tell you what. Are we at 9?
We're at 9.
I want one, and this is what triggered me because like I wouldn't want to know how much time you spent. Like I think the last one has to be something you don't want to know.
Don't want to know.
Like what is? And
that's really good, Rick.
what is the one that like it's like out wasted time in a line, or
we could just put
meetings that should have been emails? You know,
it could be subjective to the person.
Yes,
that's receiving it. This is just the status. The one stat you didn't want to know.
Right. Like, okay. I wish I didn't waste a third of my life in a checkout line or in a line at Disney, you know, whatever it is.
I'll put forth mine, time spent on hold for anything.
Yep. Okay, I think
that is time wasted that I just cannot get back.
Our list. The number of times locking your car door / additional security measures, your top 10 foods most consumed with the breakdown with that, total number of socks / clothing lost, how many times were you close to a hazard or death, number of times other people have thought about me, total fucks given, total time erect, pounds of poop / gallons of pee, awkward greetings, and the one stat you didn't want to know.
Yes.
I like that list.
I like that.
Good. I would be happy to receive those stats. And speaking of stats, it's time for last call. All right, gentlemen, tonight, classic Would You Rather, last call. Drew, would you rather be a snowflake in the North Pole or be a piece of glitter at a rave?
Holy fuck. Glitter at a rave.
Rick.
Snowflake in the North Pole.
Drew, would you rather never pay an electric bill again or never pay an internet bill?
Electric bill.
Rick?
Yeah, electric bill.
Okay. Drew, would you rather meet your spouse on a trashy dating show or when they buy your feet pics?
Trashy dating show.
Rick?
Same. That sounds like a better story.
Drew, would you rather be immortal but forever stuck at the age you are now, or reincarnation is real but you'll have no idea what your next life will be like?
Immortal.
Yep, immortal.
Drew, would you rather always have someone chew your food and drop it into your mouth like a baby bird, or swallow everything whole like a snake?
Swallow everything whole like a snake.
Yep, snake me.
Drew, would you rather wormhole shortcuts to anywhere on the planet or make time slow down when you need to?
Ooh. Wormholes.
Yep, wormhole me. I don't ever want to get another plane again.
Yep. Drew, would you rather date someone with your dad's fashion sense or your dad's sense of humor?
That's actually a really good one.
I like that one a lot.
Probably dad's sense of humor.
Yeah, sense of humor over here.
Yeah, that's really a hard one, honestly.
Yep. Last one, Drew, would you rather have every day planned out down to the half hour or never make plans at all?
Never make plans at all.
Never make plans.
All right. That was our very quick Would You Rather last call. But the episode is not quite over. Who is The alias.
The alien.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Bum, bum, bum,
I have my pick.
bum.
I have my pick.
I have my pick.
I'm gonna go first just because I'm gonna start us off.
True.
I don't think it's true. I think that was his attempt at being clever. Maybe. I'm hoping.
No.
Rick, you said something in the last segment, and I was like, I think he thinks that he's always right. And you did fight for the stat to be in the final 10, and I think you were lying about the right to wrong ratio, and I don't think you necessarily care too much about that one. Don't tell me yet. We're all gonna j'accuse first. So
Who goes next?
whoever wants to. We're all gonna take a guess.
I'm staying with my Drew submission with the crap dusting. Because I think deep down, Drew loves a good crap dust. So
Yeah, that's a good answer.
You're right, Rick. I do love a good crop dust. I was the alias.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Trav.
That's okay. I thought it was a little obvious, so I was like, I'm not gonna go.
yeah, you got to pick something. I understand.
Yeah. I was like,
It's a hard one to go for the first time we've done this.
Can I get a quick?
Honestly, I was thinking about it when I got the text that I was the alias or the imposter, and I was like, this is honestly something I would go for, even if I was not, just to kind of throw off and like give a different perspective.
Right. Sure.
But there were better ones that I really wanted to do for just farting.
mm-hmm.
And so
did you get to pick which one you disagreed with, or were you told that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
Well,
yeah.
He got to pick.
Okay.
I didn't want to, so I didn't want to do the one where we had 10 things.
No, yeah.
I thought it'd be a great one because you could just hide something in one of the 10.
I felt like that would be a little too much. We can obviously, we can think about that for the next one, but it was one of those like I could give it like an alternative opinion and just be okay kind of sliding on the radar.
I love it. Well, that was our first alias episode. I'm sure we'll probably do that next episode too. That does include tonight's episode. You can find us at the _bar banter at all the socials. New episodes every Wednesday. There's a link in the description where you can support the podcast, like and subscribe. Is that it? I think that's all the things I usually say. And just remember, this is our podcast and you're just along for the ride.